UPS. What the fuck, people? I received an email from you yesterday saying that a package was going to be delivered today, and that this package required a signature for delivery. And my choices were to schedule it to be delivered on another day or schedule it to be delivered somewhere else. Nowhere was I given an option that said, hey, I don't care if you leave it on my front doorstep like you have the last 10,000 packages you've delivered to me. This happened a while ago, too. I assumed it was something that the sender did. Now, basically, I ordered these labels from eBay, or not from eBay, but for eBay. So these labels are the right size that if you go to eBay and you print USPS postage, not UPS, USPS postage, it'll print out on the label in the correct form for you to peel it off, stick it on the package, and you don't have to tape it on there, which gets a little problematic. It wasn't terribly expensive, so it seemed like a quick and easy way to speed up my eBay selling. So I've been here waiting for this package, and of course the problem is that Joanne needed a ride down to the Capitol for doing her protesting, and James needed to be taken to school because he had to go to school today, and Michelle wanted to go to her friends, so Michelle had to go to her friends, so I'm driving around all over the place going for UPS shows up. Gonna be royally pissed. I don't need these now, but I don't want to have to fuck with it, frankly. They could just leave. They're freaking $10 worth of labels. Put them on the door. Anyway, they didn't show up. Well, they did show up, obviously, but I mean, they didn't show up while I was gone. They just showed up a minute ago. I was doing some video editing and just taking my headphones off. The doorbell rang. I thought, ha, perfect. I got up and I ran over to the door to make sure that they didn't walk away and leave the package. And as I opened the door and stepped outside, the UPS truck was driving down the street with a hearty hi-yo silver, and actually she said, to your left, to your left. And I looked down and they had just left the package on the ground without requiring any signature, which is perfectly fine, except don't send me an email telling me I have to stay here for it. I mean, if I had a job or something where I weren't at home normally, can you imagine somebody taking a day off and then having the doorbell ring and then run out there and find out that they just dumped it on you anyway? No, not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. I was just preparing to do this update, and I got an alert that says that there's a gas leak about a mile and a half that way from my house, and they've evacuated the area. Well, it's a cut gas line, so gas leak goes with that. They've evacuated the area. Obviously, it hasn't reached here. I'm not sure how far expected gas explosion would go, but I was thinking of driving up that way to go pick up some food here in a little bit, so I might need to rethink that or rethink my route. Not sure which. So, before you groan, oh no, not again, I have an update on the Red for Ed thing going on. The last commentary I actually made was before the event. So here's what's happened since then. Pretty much all of the public schools in the state closed Thursday. All of them, because the teachers were all out, walkout. That's public schools. And some of the charter schools, including my wife's. Now, at the time, they didn't know how long, but they have permits for protests and demonstrations for several days. Thursday, Friday, Monday, etc. So hard to say how long it was going to go on. But my daughter's school, the public school that she goes to, definitely said they were closing Thursday and Friday, and they were. And they've also announced that they're going to be closed Monday as well because the protests continue. Of course, they were there to be heard by the legislature and the governor, and so the Senate on Thursday morning, in the face of the protests, decided to adjourn until Monday and packed up and left. Democracy in action. Our representatives, what a stellar bunch of people they are. I had mentioned that the governor had said his, I've got a plan, and it's a stupid plan because it's got no actual revenue source for it. It's not guaranteed. He doesn't have the authority to do it, etc., etc., etc. There are no details for the plan. But apparently Friday, he and the legislature, which, might I add, is controlled by the Republicans, as is the governor a Republican, reached a deal. And that's what they've been saying in the news. We've reached a deal. Well, the problem is that they haven't reached a deal with the teachers. They've reached a deal between themselves, and they're the people that have been screwing them over anyway. So that's not really what you call reaching a deal. That's trying to spin, you've come up with a deal amongst yourselves on how to try to get past this crisis without doing anything. So their proposal is that they're going to give 9% raise to teachers this year and give another raise next year and the year after, so that by 2020 they will have received a 20% increase. Does not affect my wife. She is not a public school teacher. That's a different story. And they're going to fund that by, we think we're going to make more money in the next few years because the economy is going to be really good under Donald Trump. So basically there's no funding there, and if there isn't, then they either won't do it or they'll have to take money from something else. So, and then one of the demands for the teachers was that pay raise for everyone, not just teachers, but all the support staff who are equally making terrible, terrible amounts of money. And that was totally left off. So with the deal that they reached amongst themselves on Friday, they came up with the idea of taking $100 million from somewhere, car revenue, I think, and reallocating it to using it for various things that could be increasing stuff. But of course, all of this is, they're even out of session, so they can't do anything till Monday. So they think we should call off the strike, but the teachers are still on strike. So my daughter's school's out again Monday. James had to go to school Friday. And Chuan goes back to school Monday. Michelle still off. We don't know how long. We'll see what happens on Monday as to whether or not the strike continues. But that is what has happened so far in relation for our family. And as I say, my wife will not get a pay raise from this directly. No way. I mean, if they bump teachers' salaries up 5, 10, 20%, it wouldn't go to charter schools. Charter schools are paid differently. For every student that enrolls in a charter school, the state hands them X dollars. It's a set number of dollars. And how the charter school makes a profit of that is up to the charter school, which includes paying teachers badly. Why is my wife working there? Well, because this particular charter school does have a track record that's very good if your kid isn't an idiot. Now, if your kid's an idiot, he's going to wash out and fail miserably. And that's a major criticism of this school. But if your kid isn't an idiot, they will push through with very good looking and presumably actual good educational qualifications. So, and it's very close to the house. But if they do pay raise teachers elsewhere, then that's a possibility that my wife could go work somewhere else at this point. And, there you go. She can get more money going somewhere else, or her existing employer could pay her more money. If they wanted to try to keep her, it's going to be, that arms race. So we'll just see.
There's a video.
That's what he's in the background for.
So we got mango, we got strawberry, we got something that we cannot identify. And the drink.
This is my stuff.
The drink is strawberry flavored, which is the same as yours.
Yeah.
Well, I have something to do. It's something I don't want to do. I popped a CD, or DVD actually, into my old MacBook that we did the upgrade on a while back. And guess what? The drive doesn't work. And so the disk is stuck. It's not spinning up, it's not seeing it. So you can't use any of the reboot techniques to get it out. You can't reboot it with a mouse click or the eject button, or it isn't spinning up, it isn't doing anything, it's not right. DR util won't eject it, it's just there. So my only option is to pop the drive out of the computer and try to fish the CD out, DVD out. So let's take a look at what an operation that's going to be. So I've already got the cover off here. So if I'm following the instructions correctly, we're going to have to pop the battery connection off just for safety. Then we have to remove, this is part of the airport system, I believe, the airport Bluetooth connections. Then I've got to remove this smaller connection here, which is the optical drive, and that's got to come back. Then we have to remove this unit here and pull it back. And then right here, let's see, right there, that's the connection for the optical drive, so that'll have to come off. And then there's 3 screws holding the optical drive in place. We'll have to pull that out. And maybe there's an eject button on the front of it once you're past the bezel. There isn't one there in the bezel, but we'll see. I don't really relish this. This is the kind of work that I hate doing on these things, because one little mistake and with these little connectors and you're screwed. Well, I've got the drive out. You can kind of see it's not even over the spindle, but I can't get it out, so I'm going to have to take the cover off and further dismantle the drive. Okay, good news. I just kind of, once I took the screws off, I lifted this edge and then suddenly the disc just ejected. So I've retrieved my $6 Million Man DVD. Hooray! And now I guess I can try to put all this back together. Wish me luck!